Well, hello and welcome back to Shining Force 2. I'm having real trouble with being able to record any episode during the work week. It's hard to find time to do it. I don't think... No, there's nothing for me to do in the castle now, remember. So, we're going to go into the cave. Another cave of darkness and doom. Yeah, so it's weekend and I have a little bit of time to do a recording. And yeah, I would like to record more frequently, but yeah. And instantly thrown into battle. And there's this guy who is like the main Mamu in this particular battle. Quite a strong and sturdy fellow. Lots of defense and stuff, otherwise you know, like this Dark Bishop guy, there's a demon. And also there's a treasure chest. In this game you can't really search treasure chests during battle. You have to do it after battle. Anyway, is there some... No, nothing there. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Actually, in the CD, Shining Force CD game, they did something kind of like inventive, I guess, with these cave battles or darkness battles. They made it, yeah, it's not a very like hard thing to come up with, but they made it like, you know, made enemies appear as you go along, which is kind of a good way to what you call it, simulate like walking around in darkness, not knowing what's ahead of you. But in this game it's just a spotlight and you go around and fight like normal. You only have a smaller line of vision. Alright. How big defense does her have? 33. That's not amazing by any stretch. Anyway. So I guess I'll have to protect her a bit still. And we put Road in the falls last time, but he looks exactly like Janet, only he is not pink, he's blue. Dabba-dee dabba-dum. For all of you 90's kids out there. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how balanced my force is. Stupid medical herbs. Don't want to fill my inventory with that. Defense by 3, that's nice. Yeah, don't quite remember, but I remember that level 4 is among the lower end in the force. I remember that Turin needs to gain a bit. Yes, he's only level 1, although he promoted at a bit of a higher level than the others, but I do need to put some effort into him. Yeah, just hang back and wait. Looting. Let them come to me. That's it. Alright, So yeah, from now on in this game actually you pretty much have to fight for every step you take. Every step you take. Yeah, basically to the very end of the game. And we're about maybe in the middle of the game, something like that, when if you count battles. There are, in other words, there are quite a lot of battles ahead of us. Yeah, sure. But as I said, it's nice. It's for every step you take, you need to fight. Pretty much. So yeah, and it's not a lot of the story of this game really. It's I remember when I first like play this when I was younger, when I was little, or rather when I watched my brother play it. It was the first time I saw a game that even had a story, so naturally at that age and at that time I was very intrigued and was super fascinated by it. And yeah, I really let myself be absorbed by the story. But it's nothing very special really, it's just evil guy coming back, princess in trouble, young boy goes out to save her, yada yada, as any fantasy story. And more blunt than most like written fantasy stories, like most books. I did read a lot of fantasy back in the day, but yeah, and I really like, I ate books basically. I devoured books and read like David Eddings and Robert Jordan. I actually read The Fellowship quite late, but that has kind of a harder language to get into, so it might be understandable, of course. When I read it in English. I enjoy that. And since English isn't my first language, we had it in English back home. Since English isn't my first language, I didn't understand enough to be able to read it when I was smaller, younger. Alright. Guardian staff doing work. Okay. Yeah, but then suddenly really when I got to late teenage years or early 20s, my interest for fantasy completely stopped, completely vanished. Only thing I was reading, I still am reading a bit, which is fantasy, is Terry Pratchett sometimes. But I don't know why, but suddenly I wasn't interested anymore. I had enough of it, I guess. So this story doesn't really get my pants tingling anymore. Well, it's also because I've played the game too many times to be awed by it. But of course, when it comes to like Shining Force 3 for the Saturn, they really did a bit more, slightly more intricate story with a lot of politics and stuff, and that has a bit more feel to it. And also the kind of gritty graphics on the Saturn. I know many of you people have never experienced Saturn, but you might remember PS1 if you're of that age. Yeah, those gritty graphics, it's similar to PS1. They make for some sort of feel in the game too. It feels like it gets kind of atmospheric, and it's very apparent in Shining the Holy Ark, which is the dungeon crawler game for Saturn. I don't remember how far the enemies are here. Let's see. A bit. Yeah, they're quite far away. And there are not many magicians here to worry about. Okay. I think this lesser demon down there will seek us out. So I don't really need to go down and fetch him. Sweet. Let's see how far away he is. He's starting to move towards us, maybe? Alright. Yeah, when this dark it's kinda hard to be exact with the placing of the characters. I only remember like vaguely where they are. But I think most of my characters are strong enough at this point to withstand an attack from any of these guys. At least one attack. Now, Tyrion needs a healing fix. Good. Yeah, well, 17 damage, it's not a lot that he took from that attack. And it's the Guardian, for being a mage, that is. So the Guardian staff does work. How high defense does Jaha have? 44, that's quite decent actually, so he can stand in front. Yeah, and I need Tyrion to get to do something in this battle. And Road, perhaps. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, when this game came out, the world was kinda different, wasn't it? No, yeah, there was internet of course, but it was not the way it is today. It was mostly a bunch of like crappy looking government sites and other uninteresting sites. A couple of pages had some crap quality music or something, and of course there was porn. But every time I wanted to watch a video of something, there were videos on some pages, like 10-second clips and stuff. But every time you wanted to watch it, then you had to wait for few minutes for them to load. Yeah. So the internet and games, knowledge of games, were basically restricted to what you and your friends knew and what you could read in magazines and stuff, if you were a subscriber to any of those. Oh, she can't reach anyone. Yeah. And I played Magic the Gathering then, and I do now, a bit, when I have the time at least. It's not every day that I do have the time, but that is an example of a game that has evolved extremely a great amount with the internet. It's been, players are so much better now than they were back then, because now you can read about strategies just hours after big tournaments and stuff. And that is true for many games too. Many video games, that is. So, the 90s. In a way, the world was well, it's hard to tell really if the world was like more exciting or felt less discovered or something, because that might have been because I was small then too. But the internet has makes sure that everyone who wants to know anything can find it out with the click of a button. And yeah, back then there were things you just didn't know. Like when it comes to Magic, for example, you didn't when you were a kid and bought boosters, you were surprised by what the contents were. You can, even if you don't play Magic, any of the one who is listening to this, even if you don't play Magic, you can compare it to any other trading card game or something. Back then you didn't know what cards were in a specific set, so you were surprised by what were in the boosters and everything. And there were cards you had never seen before and stuff. And naturally you were very bad at the game too, of course. Being a kid and not having any experience of like building real decks and stuff. But yeah, that's kind of different nowadays. When a new set comes out, it is spoiled on the internet like a week in advance, and you know the cards before you buy your first pack or whatever.